Garden by none other than Nora Jones and Billy Joe Armstrong. You wouldn't think that, but that's a wonderful CD. It's called For Everly, where the two of them do all these Everly Brother tunes, and it's really wonderful. Came out a couple of years ago. Talk about wonderful duos. We're joined in studio by our very own local duo of Cassidy Joy and Peter Johnson, who will be performing on Sunday, not this Sunday, Sunday, May the 13th at the 151 Union on 151 Mill Street in Grass Valley. Welcome, Cassidy. Welcome, Peter.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Always like to promote local artists, but there's one thing that they have to have is talent. So you guys have it, and I'm putting it out there. So I'm glad you guys came in.
Glad somebody thinks so.
Yeah. So your duo act is known as Small Town Romance.
Yes, sir.
That's correct, right? Yeah. Other than you two being very fine musical performers, is there any truth to the title of your name, Small Town Romance?
I think that title just comes from an album that's a favorite of Cassidy's. I don't think there. Do you think there's any? I don't know if it's.
Technically, it's
else?
the title of my favorite live album, which was a Richard Thompson album, but
Okay.
I will let your imagination run wild with that, Johnny.
No, it's the elephant in the room when people hear that title and then they see the two of you, it's like, okay.
I could do worse.
So let's get it out. Let's get it out there on radio,
I could
right?
do worse.
Okay.
Oh, of course, there's some truth to that.
Okay, we'll
That's
leave it.
for another day.
We'll leave it there, yeah. So let's get back into the music end of this. So
Sure.
tell us what artists from the past influenced the two of you most for your songbook that you have put together as a duo.
Well, for
Ready? On the count of three.
on the count of wait, I have to know what you're going to say. Well, we have to start with Richard Thompson because that's also how we sort of started singing together, and then probably it's on Cassidy's side that going much deeper into traditional British folk and folk rock. So
Sandy Denny has been a very large influence. John Renbourn, Bert Jansch, Pentangle,
Steel Eye Span.
Steel Eye Span. Peter likes Elvis Costello a lot, and he's taught me some really brilliant songs of Mr. Costello's. And I was never really a fan before, but I'm really fond of his songwriting after Peter's taught me some of his songs. So
Learn from each other.
Yeah.
Precisely.
So now that my curiosity's perked really, and I've heard you guys on the internet a little bit, but I haven't seen you in person. So our listeners, I might be wanting to hear, and I know I want to. How about you two giving us a sample of what they might hear at the 151 Union in Grass Valley on Sunday the 13th?
sure.
We'd like to do that.
Which happens to be Mother's Day, apparently. Well, this is a Scottish traditional, an old folk song. It's called Bogie's Bonnie Belle.
And kind of in some way appropriate to Mother's Day. I don't know. As I came in by Hundley Town one morning for to feed, I met with Bogie O'Kenny, and with him I did agree to take his two best horses, likewise his cart and plough, and all around the farmland I was obliged to do. Old Bogie had a daughter, her name was Isabel. She was the flower of the valley and the primrose of the dell. One day she went out walking and chose me as her guide, down by the burn of Kenny for to watch the small fish glide. When 3 months had passed and gone, this lassie lost her bloom, and I was quickly called upon to see what could be done. And I said that I would marry her, but no, this would not do, for you're no match for my bonny girl, and she's no match for you. Now she's married to a tinker lad that comes from Hundley Town, selling pots and pans and paraffin lamps as he scours the country round. Now maybe she's had a better match, but Bogie can they tell? Oh, it's fairly well to Hundley Town and to Bogie's bonny Belle.
Nicely done, you two.
Thank
you. Yeah, very good. You were just listening to Cassidy Joy and Peter Johnson of Small Town Romance, who will be playing at the 151 Union in Grass Valley on Sunday the 13th, Mother's Day, from 5 to 8. Now, I mentioned Mother's Day because it's that Sunday, but the timing of 5 to 8 might be a nice time to bring Mom out and
of course.
And some entertainment right after dinner, before dinner, whatever.
Of course. Well, on a Sunday evening, people like to go to earlier shows. Nobody wants to be going home at 9 or 10 at night on a Sunday when you have to get up the next morning for work or school. So
yeah, so it's a nice timing right there.
Of course. And they serve delicious food there and many different types of beer, and it's a great little venue. And it's going to be our last time playing there, actually. They are selling the place, which is now public knowledge, so we are allowed to say so.
Okay, so
it's sort of also for us a little mini celebration because we've played there many a time and just sort of our own going out. So.
I personally love that place. It's like being in
Absolutely.
someone's living room. They have couches, easy chairs, tables, the bar set up there, but it's really comfortable. I've never been in a place that has that kind of setup so comfortable.
Absolutely.
It is a great place, and it's really fun to play there, too. Wonderful sound and atmosphere.
Nice people, yeah. So tell us more about this evening as far as what people can expect over the course of 3 hours. I mean, you've mentioned some of the music that you like to play and stuff, but have you kind of put together a playlist yet without saying it?
Yes.
We have
course.
indeed. Tragedy and some drownings. A good deal of traditional music of the British Isles, folk, and some more contemporary from the same. So you've got the newer like in the 60s and 70s, and that's new for the traditions, and a few recent things, and hey, one original thrown in there for good measure.
Absolutely. We're going to play one of the songs that Peter wrote that actually happens to just fit so nicely into that sound and into that genre. And once you hear the song, you wouldn't be able to tell that someone wrote it in 2018. You'd think it was just right in there with the rest of them. So it's a really wonderful song.
Interesting.
We're going to have... Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Johnny.
And you played a Scottish tune there, which makes me think you're going to be playing at the Celtic Fest, the KVMR's Celtic Fest
Yes,
we
this
are.
year. So will this appearance here have, I know the one you'll have in September at the KVMR Celtic Fest will have a slant on Celtic music, of course.
Absolutely.
But on this evening, will there be a little more than what we heard just now?
There's going to be a lot of Celtic folk traditional theme, a lot of traditional folk songs from England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, some of which were kept in a very raw original form, and some of which were taken on by 70s folk rock groups such as Steel Ice Band and Pentangle and Fairport Convention. They kept the lyrics and the actual songs the same, but turned them into some more rock and roll versions. So our versions sort of vary between those or some of our own arrangements that we've made up, but the songs are true to what they originally were. And then we've just added some some ballads in there by Sandy Denny and Ann Briggs, who's a favorite of mine, who's a huge vocal influence, and Richard Thompson, and like I said, one of Peter's songs. And it's going to be a good European mix. And we have some special guests joining us. So we're going to have Bluebird Gaia, who's going to play cello, and Sean Prescott, multi-instrumentalist. She's going to be on the flute and the whistle and percussion and her harp. She's bringing a huge, gorgeous harp. Sean is also playing with us in the Celtic Festival. And
Nisi Van Crete, who will be playing fiddle and mandolin.
Oh, you got a nice setup
We
there.
do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this sounds like an event for sure to go to.
I know.
yeah, we wanted a bigger sound. We, most of the time it's the two of us playing, but for said event we wanted a bigger sound, something a little bit more rollicking and something to fill the room.
And I didn't ask you this before, and we usually don't talk about money, but is there is there an entrance fee on this Sunday night,
Not
the
this
13th?
time.
Just tip
No.
us well.
That's right.
I
Well,
think
Just tip the band well.
all the mothers should get up on their family and go, come on, let's go out and hear some music. It's not going to cost you that much, but we'll take care of those musicians up there.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So tell us more about some of the other events that you have going. We mentioned the Celtic Fest, but what else?
We are starting to book some shows out of town, so we're going to be hitting the road throughout Northern California, hopefully Reno area. Peter's got some things
In the Bay
coming
Area.
up, and Bay Area.
Oh yeah, and I've got
Peter's
a couple
some
things coming up in town at Lucchese and at Open Book, June 3rd, Songwriters Showcase. And we're little by little doing some recording, so that'll be available by the end
Celtic
of
Festival.
summer, but
Yeah.
at Celtic Fest.
We'll have some merchandise prepared once we get to the Celtic Festival. So.
All right, sounds like you got a nice little calendar up ahead, and
We do.
as more people hear you, the tighter your calendar will get.
That's the hope.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
so
the dream.
Anyhow, thank you for coming in, you two, and happy Mother's Day to you in
Oh,
advance
thank you.
to you, Cassidy. And
I might just be dragging my two little ones along with me to the show. We'll see how it goes.
Well, appropriate. That would be very
Yeah,
appropriate.
they
on
can hear
Mother's
all the
Day.
songs of bloody, gory murder and throwing the body in the ditch.
They just see Mom up there singing. They
Absolutely.
won't be listening to the lyrics. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. That's on Sunday, May the 13th, 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Small Town Romance, Cassidy Joy, Peter Johnson. You guys sound great.
Thank you
Thanks
for
so
having
much.
us, Johnny.
All right.